In this world of fake news, it's so hard to know exactly what to trust. What protects you in a volatile, crazy market like this is the same thing that protects you in a stable one. A clear inventory system. Store owners who are going to come out of this in the strongest position are not going to be the ones who predicted every tariff change correctly. They're going to be the ones who had a system and they stuck to it. Hello, and welcome to the Richer Retailer Podcast. Well, if you've been online at all this week, you've probably seen something about tariff refunds. And I'm guessing that one of two things happened. Either your eyes glazed over because it sounded like government bureaucracy that you don't have time for, or you got a little excited thinking that maybe a check was headed your way. Or actually, I'm also thinking of a third response, which is like, yeah, what the heck? That's not ever going to happen, right? I want to talk to you about the first two reactions and tell you what you do need to know, because this is indeed real. It's happening right now. And I don't want you to either miss something important or waste time chasing something that isn't actually yours. I mean, we're going to cut through this noise and get to the bottom of it. And for sure, it's a changing situation. As things change, I will add to this and I'll update it, figure out some way of doing that, because I want to make sure that you know that you can come here to really believe what's happening, right? In this world of fake news, it's so hard to know exactly what to trust. And I'm so honored that you're here. I'm grateful to you for believing in me. So this is what we know happened. The Supreme Court struck down certain import tariffs that had been put in place under a law called IEEPA. Because those tariffs were ruled unlawful, U.S. Customs is now required to refund them. A new government portal opened this week to start processing those refund claims. It's called the CAPE, the CAPE system. This is real. It's not a scam, but it's also not what most people is assuming it is, right? I mean, the government charged importers for something they weren't legally supposed to charge them for, and now they have to give it back. Now, the key word here is importers. And that's where most of you need to lean in on, right? Because the one question that determines everything about this is, were you the importer of record? What that means is that when goods cross the border into the United States, someone has to be legally responsible for that shipment. And that's called the importer of record. They're the ones who paid the tariffs, and they're the ones who can claim the refund. Now, for most of you, there's two scenarios. The scenario A is that you buy from a wholesaler, a showroom, a domestic vendor, a rep or something, and you paid your vendor's invoice. You did not pay the tariff. Your vendor did, or their supplier did, right? So that means that you're not eligible to file directly, because any refund that exists flows to the importer first. I get this could be disappointing to hear, and there's a million reasons why you can feel like you deserve some of it too. But here's what I want you to take away. You're not out of the conversation entirely. You can and should be asking vendors whether they're filing claims and whether any of those savings will be passed back to you through pricing adjustments or credits on future orders. This is a completely fair ask. It is a specific business conversation. That's all it is. And you just need to know who holds the cards about it. For a smaller group of you, there's another scenario. Scenario B, we'll call it. If your business has sourced directly from overseas, worked with a freight broker, and your name is on the import documents, you may have a legitimate claim worth pursuing. Don't ignore this. Talk to your customs broker about it this week. Now, what this actually means for your cash flow is, if you're in scenario B, this is a real cash flow opportunity, but don't count it until it arrives. Or let me say it another way. Don't spend it until you get it, right? The CBP, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, is estimating 60 to 90 days for process. So do not change your open to buy or your buying plan around money that isn't in your account yet. Don't spend it. That's very reactive decision making, and we don't do that. You guys know that. Now, if you're in scenario A, the vendor conversation is absolutely worth having. It's a typical business conversation, but treat any outcome as a bonus, not a plan. Your cash flow strategy can't depend on a maybe, right? Either way, I want to make sure that you're making decisions from your numbers, as we always do, not from headlines, not from hype, and not from what you think might be coming. Your numbers. That's how we make decisions. That's our richer retailer way, right? And the bigger picture, I mean, this is the part that's really about your buying strategy. This is the pivot point. The tariff story is the door, and this is the room we actually want to walk into. What we know is that the tariff environment has been crazy volatile and so unpredictable. Prices are shifting, vendor relationships are under pressure, right? Availability is certainly uncertain, and a lot of store owners are making one of these two mistakes. Mistake one is panic buying. You're stocking up on everything because you're afraid prices are going to go up even higher, and you're tying up cash in inventory before you know what your customers actually want. This is how you ended up with brown bananas on your shelf. You know what I'm talking about. Bananas that were perfectly good when they first came in, but now they're stinky and rotten and you've attracted fruit flies all over them, right? There's no open to buy left to buy more fresh fruit. The second mistake that people are making is freezing, being so uncertain of what comes next that they're not buying at all. And meanwhile, their shelves get thin and their customers go elsewhere. Now, you might be sitting there listening to me talk about these two mistakes. One of them, immediately your head starts to think, well, that's a crazy response. I assure you, there's people who think the way you're thinking is a crazy response, right? But the fact is that neither of these is a strategy. Both of them are reactions. And we as Millies, as richer retailers, we don't react, we decide. And so what protects you in a volatile, crazy market like this is the same thing that protects you in a stable one. A clear inventory system, knowing you're never out of, running your open to buy every single month, making buying decisions based on what your numbers are telling you, not what the news is telling you, right? Store owners who are going to come out of this in the strongest position are not going to be the ones who predicted every tariff change correctly. That's not it. They're going to be the ones who had a system and they stuck to it. Now, you know that the way we end every podcast is talking about what a Millie does with this, right? What the Millie moment is. And I'll tell you this, she hears the news and she asks that one smart question. Was my business the importer of record? She has the right conversation with her vendors, and then she goes back to leading her business from her numbers. She doesn't get distracted by all the noise. She doesn't let uncertainty become an excuse for not making a decision. She doesn't let uncertainty become the reason or the excuse for not making decisions. That's the Millie moment move. That's what it is. And for sure, navigating moments like this is so much easier when you're not doing it alone. When you have a system, when you have someone in your corner who's helping you to apply it to what's actually going on in your business, in your store right now. That's what we do inside the Profit Club. And the way that I can serve you best is by telling you how we don't just hand you frameworks and send you off. Good luck, pat you on the head, and have a great month. Oh no, we help you make decisions in real time, including in situations like this. If you've been thinking about what it would look like to have that kind of support behind your buying strategy, behind your cash flow, behind all of it, the next step is to book a game plan call. Get on the phone with Crystal. The link is in the show notes. She is a master turnaround expert. She literally was called that. She worked for corporate retail before, and they would send her to the stores that weren't performing well because she helped turn them around. And she'll give you this game plan call that is an actual real conversation about your store and about where you're at now and where you want to go. It'll give you so much clarity about what's possible. And if you're interested in getting more information about Profit Club and how to work with us, she's happy to share that. If not, she's happy to give you the best steps to take that can get you the biggest impact and the most results for you right now. If this episode was useful to you, that's exactly why I want you to follow the podcast or subscribe to our YouTube channel. When things move fast out here, I want you to hear it first, broken down, translated, and made actually useful for you, useful for your store. The links are in the show notes for anything that you might need. I'll see you next week.